welcome back to Hey Eintracht Frankfurt, the Bundesliga podcast covering everything there is to know in the English language about Eintracht Frankfurt, the greatest club in Germany, the greatest club in Europe, the greatest club in the world for that matter, but we are a little bit biased. I am John in Virginia, and I will be your host today, joined by the wonderful Matt from DC. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How you doing, bud?
Pretty good, pretty good. Watching a lot of Roland Garros here with that going on. So near the end of the tournament, it's been quite up and down
Oh
couple
yeah.
weeks here. So that's fun. But we are not here to talk about tennis. We are here to talk about football. A couple weeks ago, Chris and I did a recap of the Frauen season. So if you haven't listened to that yet, go check out our YouTube. Go check out SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, and give that a listen. But tonight we will be talking about the men's season. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of downs for sure this men's season. So we're going to talk you through that. Matt, I mean, any kind of general thoughts before we dive too deeply into this?
We got what we deserved. I mean, it pretty much
Yeah,
says it all. I mean, we started off hot. Uh, the pundits predicted us to be a challenger, and then we nose dove pretty quickly after that. And in the end, we finished in eighth, missed out on Europe, and we got what we deserved. So that's pretty much sums it up for me.
yeah, no, a pretty accurate summary of the season right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was gonna start off talking, the hot start, obviously destroy Angers in the Pokal first round. You kind of expect that, but we have had some issues with lower level sides occasionally there. But then you come out first two games of the Bundesliga season, beat Werder Bremen, beat Hoffenheim, and like you said, pundits were like, "Oh, maybe Eintracht Frankfurt, it's their year. They can contend with Bayern." Um, it quickly went off the rails after that, though.
Yep.
You know, losing the next game to Leverkusen, and then Union
And
Berlin.
heartbreak. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did win our first Champions League match after that Leverkusen match. Beating Galatasaray 5-1, top of the table after one match day. Go on
Hmm.
to lose, the next two matches by a scoreline of 5-1, and kind of crashed out of the Champions League pretty hard, coming nearly in last place in that. So, um, yeah, I mean, what do you think about our Champions League campaign? Since we just brought it up, it's
Um, I'd still have a screenshot after the first match day table
yep, I have one as
somewhere.
well.
um, Probably long gone at some point. Um, Champions League, it was nice to partake. I mean, we had some heavy hitters in there, and they
Mhm.
tuned us up pretty good. It was probably one or two steps too big, especially losing some of your top players offensively in the off season
Yeah,
after they're the ones that got you there. You hope to, if you lose the games, it is what it is, but to get embarrassed like that was a little disappointing. Um, it's, we did it. I got to go to a game. It was awesome. We
yeah.
lost, but at the end of the day, it'll be nice to take a step back and appreciate it for what it was, and just kind of relax for a little bit after that
Yeah,
campaign.
yeah, for sure. No, it definitely seemed like one step maybe too far for us at this point.
Yeah,
It was a lot of fun to make it through the league last year for the first time, but as you mentioned, losing Marmouche in January and then losing Ekatike over the summer. Yes, we were able to bring in Jonathan Burkhardt, but he can't make up everything for those two.
no,
So yeah, no, it was very unfortunate to get embarrassed the way we did against Atletico, against Liverpool at home. Of course, Ekatike had to score in that one. We had
yeah,
Kolomwani score against us as well in the Tottenham
yeah,
game,
yeah,
and
yeah,
and then losing very late after you tie it up against Karabakh. Like it was a rough go, but
yeah.
we were there. it's still a good payday to even make it to the
Yep.
league phase. So you take that money and hopefully kind of mitigate not making Europe this year at all.
Yeah.
Let's touch on DFB Pokal real quick. Obviously, not a very long campaign for us in that.
Nope.
You know,
Nope.
beat Angers pretty good on the first match, and then lose.
Expectedly.
Yeah, and then you lose in penalties to Dortmund. So a competition we always love to play in, and it kind of seems like we either go out in the first two rounds or we go all the way to the finals. And
Yeah.
it was an early exit for us this year.
Yeah. Dortmund was that match came a little early. You know, third or fourth round maybe, but second round was a little hefty.
Yeah.
On the flip side, Angers was probably the weakest opponent in the whole competition.
Yeah.
So you go from that to Dortmund, who's, you know, one of the top teams typically. Kind of a bummer. I mean, you can say what you want about not having VAR and all this other kind of stuff, and you know, there was a deserved second yellow that didn't get called, but you know, it was a fun game to watch as a football fan, as a neutral, but
Mm-hmm.
heartbreaking as an Eintracht fan. So
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
Losing on penalties at home is never a fun thing at
yeah,
all. And then you go back to the league where it was kind of up and down. I think for a lot of the first half of the season.
oh yeah,
You look at the season up until Todd Muller was fired. Right, he was fired on January 18th. In the league, 7 wins, 6 draws, 5 losses. Pretty just even.
yeah.
I think we were sitting in 8th place right at that time,
I think
or maybe 7th.
Seventh.
Yeah, it might have been
Yeah.
7th. And of course, based on how we did in Champions League, kind of the defensive issues throughout the Bundesliga campaign, despite having an okay-ish amount of wins, right? Todd Muller goes, and we bring in the interims Dennis Schmidt and Alex Meyer, who were in charge for 4 games. All 4 were pretty rough losses, 2 in the league, 2 in Champions League, until we bring in Albert Riera, who comes in, 4 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses. We end the season in 8th place outside of Europe, and as you mentioned at the start, pretty deserved for how we played over the course of the season, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, a lot of shots missed on that one. You know, a lot of, you try and rebound and fix things, and nothing panned out for us this year. There's a lot of failures, a lot of missed opportunities, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Went up fishing and weitermachen. So my weekends aren't as stressful or as depressing now. So
Yeah.
for the time being, at least. So
well, but, to be fair, the last time we missed out on Europe, which was in 1920, right? 2019, 2020, or 2020, 2021. I mean,
yeah,
we
2021.
We did end up going on to win the Europa League the next season. So
yeah,
you never know. A good year off may not be the worst thing. Obviously, you want the money that comes along with Europe. You want the playing time opportunities for players as well for recruitment. But 8th place, it is what it is, and what we deserve.
Yeah.
But I think probably the biggest talking point throughout the season among the fan base had to do with our coaching, right? So of course we come into the season with Dino Topmuller, got us into the Champions League through the league for the first time in our history last year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of expectations and a lot of letdowns after that this season. Not everything was bad, but things kind of headed in a direction where I think the writing had been on the wall for Dino for a number of weeks before he ended up getting canned. What were your thoughts at the time when Dino was let go?
I really liked Dino as a coach and as a person. Very sympathetic character. It was pretty evident that he had lost the locker room and
Hmm.
the support of the front office. Um, I remember seeing some clips of him like behind the scenes stuff last season, and there's a lot of fire in him. You could see it on the bench and the way he talked to players. In the locker room. Some of the behind the scenes stuff that we were able to see. And I don't know if they just panned to him at the times this season where he was most depressing and frustrated. Where he just looked like a deflated balloon, but he looked absolutely deflated on the sidelines. At the time, I was like, yeah, it's time to bring in a breath of fresh air. In
Hmm.
hindsight, I kind of wish maybe we just wrote it out, and because I don't blame him for everything.
Hmm.
The lineup, the squad as a whole, that lineup, the injuries, the Champions League matches, and just everything. It all kind of caught up to us and just hit us smack in the face.
Yeah.
We, it's easier to replace the coach than it is, 20 something players.
Right.
Um, it was pretty obvious that they tried to go after someone else, supposedly Marco Rosa, and it didn't work for whatever reason, or maybe they had someone else lined up on top of that, and that's when they brought in Dennis Schmidt and Alex Maya. That didn't work. Those guys said and did all the right things, but they still get the result. And then Riera came in, and you watch the first couple press conferences, and you're like, man, these guys could run through a brick wall for this guy. And
Hmm.
first couple matches are okay, and then it just went really crazy all of a sudden. I mean, it was just kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Um, and it just seemed like the same old thing, with Dino, just the way the performances were. It definitely got a little more hectic, his press
Hmm.
conferences in the media, and it seemed like some of that was self-inflicted on him, and
Yeah.
maybe it's just his character just being very passionate and open, or maybe it was some kind of insider conspiracy theory trying to get trying to get him to do harm to himself and shoot
Right.
himself in the foot. I don't know. I'm just saying. Yeah, it was a shit show. There's nothing else more to say about it. It
Yeah.
you know, for mine definitely showed its ugly face again.
Hmm.
We haven't had this much unruhe with the coaching and in years. It happens every now and then, but this year was exceptional and really, really felt the brunt of it. I mean, there's some tough Saturdays, where you're just.
Yeah.
I mean, you can lose a game and you can just walk out there with no passion and no heart. And there's some losses like that where it's just first goal would go in and you're like, this is going to be a long fucking game here to watch. So,
Yeah.
but I don't know. What'd you think about it?
I mean, well, I was gonna go back to Dino for a moment here, and talk Riera in a second, but I
Yeah.
think yeah, you could see in January that there something wasn't right with the relationship in Dino and with the players. Uh, there was so much noise around whether Dino was going to be able to keep his job or not over the holiday break, where
Yeah.
that's going to make its way into the locker room and it's going to cause issues. And so I think
Yeah.
it had to be done to let Dino go. It probably would have been nice to do it at the end of December and let a new coach have a transfer window in there.
Yeah. Agreed.
I'm not sure that if Riera was the guy at that time that it necessarily would have worked out, but I think that would have at least aided a little bit in a transition to a new coach,
Yeah.
especially when you go 4 matches with Schmidt and Maya and it went very very poorly,
Yeah.
and that really hurt us a lot. There was still a chance, a low
Very
chance,
much.
but there
Very
was a
much.
chance to make it out of the league phase in Champions League, and a couple dropped games in the Bundesliga could have put us, into 7th place. So it's just unfortunate the timing around it. Yeah, Dino, I mean, he obviously was liked by the fan base quite a bit. We saw that especially at the end of the year when they were like, no, thank you, Riera. Thank you to Dino.
Yeah.
But, one thing you brought up was injuries. And I think there's no question Jonathan Burkhart's injury, in like November, December-ish, really hurt in our chances to win games. There really
wasn't the only one.
No, he wasn't. But he was our only offensive engine before bringing in, Callum Lindo, Ebno Talib, Amai Mooney in January. So just that lack of goals and really hurts. Obviously, Christensen had his injury problems throughout the year as well.
Chanuzan as well.
Chanuzan, yep. And talk about our second most important player, arguably most important player when it comes to creating offense. Skiri and Larson had their injury issues, as they seemingly always do at this point.
Yep.
So it was certainly a tough year on the injury side. And I know you mentioned something about the team letting go of the physical trainer, right? Did you want to elaborate on that at all?
He was let go. His name is slipping my mind at the moment. I met him when Eintracht came to Philadelphia in 2018. Super nice guy. He was in Louisville this past summer, maybe the summer before. He's one of the few guys on the team that was drinking a beer and hanging out with the fans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Super cool guy, great to talk to, cool with the kids. I don't know if he's to blame for it, but the amount of injuries this year was kind of shocking. I don't know if it was a fitness thing or what, I mean, we've had a little bit of turnover since last year, but I mean, a huge part of the squad did play pretty deep in the Europa League last year, and maybe just all the matches caught up to them. I'm not sure, but I mean, obviously, maybe they thought he was at fault or could have done something better, or just they need to bring in some fresh eyes or something. But yeah, he's unfortunately parted ways, but I guess on to bigger and better things now. So
yeah, hopefully for him. Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you start having so many injuries. Who can you blame? What can you do to fix that? At the end of the day, it's kind of just sport. Injuries happen. It's an unfortunate reality, and sometimes it hurts you. Sometimes you're able to weather it, and unfortunately, I think for the most part, we weren't really able to weather it with the squad this year. But
the depth wasn't there. I mean,
yeah, exactly. But we'll get to the squad in a second. I did want to just touch on Riera real quickly, but before we move on,
let's hear it.
When he was brought in, I was very excited. I thought the way he talked was nice. It was very different, obviously, than what we had under Dino. And
very
I thought,
stern.
Yeah, very direct, straightforward. Is going to speak his mind. And I thought that was going to be a good change. You need to make something, create a fire in the players, and try to fight on to make Europe. But we saw that it didn't translate, right? And then, I think there were issues with the media from the start. Obviously, he doesn't speak any German. I think that caused a rift. But he also refused to take any accountability for the team not playing well, kind of just shifted that blame onto the players not playing well enough, or Croatia not having the best squad available to him. When he comes in and is saying, I just am here to make the best out of the players that I have, and then kind of walks back on all that. And then the Burkhardt situation, I mean, that was really
totally crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was the nail in the coffin, right? Like, he talks about how this is clearly some utter bullshit, right? Where his words, it wasn't. Like, there was clearly something going on there, and you can't have that kind of drama around. So
I mean, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. I mean, he inherited a squad that wasn't his. He
hmm
never had a proper off season or any kind of training period, whether it was winter training or summer session, anything like that.
hmm
On the flip side, I mean, you had players that were doing well struggling, players playing out of position, and then you had a few players that stepped up and did well. I guess they realized this was their chance, but I mean, for the most part, some of your key players, Doan and Burkhart, are the two that probably stand out the most to me. I mean, they were just, I mean, they were our two biggest offseason signings, really, and
right.
they were just non-factors, not playing totally. Uh, I don't know. It's just, I don't know if the coach is like, if you bring in Pep,
hmm
does Pep adjust his system to the players he has, or does he force the players to play to his system? You know, it's like,
Well, and we've seen it with him. He forces players to play to his system, and if players don't adhere to that, then he changes them out over the summer. Now, of course,
yeah,
he's
he's
managed
Pep.
teams that you can, and of course, he's managed teams that have the financial ability to just do that on a whim. That's not necessarily the case for us, unfortunately. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
I mean, as a coach, you're
hmm
supposed to do the. I feel in this situation, do the best with what you've got, and be a motivator and like a friend and a big brother and a parent and the biggest cheerleader and also the one that holds them accountable all in one tightly packaged Swiss Army knife as a coach. So I mean, and he really did none of that. He brought a lot of unrest upon himself and upon the squad and the organization as a whole. And hey, man,
yeah,
see you later.
yeah. No,
No
for
hard
sure,
feelings. So
for sure. No,
yeah,
I fully agree. Um, Yeah, and you talk about Burkhardt and Doan under Riera. At least when Burkhardt played, he was scoring. Um,
yeah. Once
so
he's got his legs back, yeah,
yeah, Doan though you're right, a complete non-factor as soon as Riera took charge. I mean, he kind of showed some ups and downs. He kind of is what he is. He's not always um, the most engaged player, but is able to make high impact
oh yeah,
at good moments, and you couldn't see that at all when Riera took over. But as you mentioned with other players who saw their opportunities, um, Aurel Amenda, I didn't think he looked like a Bundesliga caliber player under Dino Topmuller. Man, he was decent at the back, at
he
least
had
as
some
decent
really
as
good
he could be.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
so
had some.
one of the few players who really took that opportunity under Riera to show something. And hey, he's going to the World Cup with Switzerland now. Whether
Yeah,
he'll play
good
or
for him.
not, who knows? But yeah, so that's cool, and
Yeah,
hopefully he can continue that form next year because we certainly could use some help on the defensive side of things when it comes to
yeah,
this squad.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
obviously we have squad issues up as the banner right here.
yeah.
um it,
There's so many things to hit on.
it's a lot, right? It's a lot.
Yep.
I mean, I think first and foremost the defense had to be the biggest question mark for us this season, just in terms of lack of depth, right? Amenda's basically the only center back who's not starting every game outside of Koch and Teot. And then you see how Koch and Teot performed this season. It was not ideal. And a lack of bringing in reinforcements for them, I think, was certainly an issue within the squad.
Yeah, I mean, Collins got hurt. Um, Christensen got hurt.
hmm
Amanda played well. Koch struggled.
Yeah.
Teot struggled. Was that they just have an off season? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's rumors of Koch going to Dortmund over the summer. Remember?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we were worried we were going to lose them, and then we ended up keeping them.
Yeah.
You know, uh, Looking back on things, you lose Trupp. Was Trupp just more vocal?
Hmm.
In the back and how he organized his defense, or was that something else? I mean, for me, one of the most frustrating things was just the younger players that we kept. Um, they didn't really get a chance to prove themselves. You got why am I blanking on his name right now? The defender, Elias
Oh
Baum.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he had a very good, decent season last year with Elvisbeck.
Yeah.
There's talks of him going on loan again, and we kept him. He played some minutes in one game, got hurt, came back, and
Yeah.
really never got a chance again. And it's like, here's a guy that we developed, we invested in, we put all this time in, and you're having a shitty season, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you have injuries and performance issues, and let the kid go at it. You know what I mean? If you,
Yeah.
I understand you're still trying to fight for Europe, but at a certain point, it was like, what's the definition of insanity? Trying the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
expecting the same result. I mean, a different result. Like, I
Yeah.
just, let him play. I mean, Amendo's a nice breath of fresh air. Tiat, I don't know what was going on with him. I don't know if these guys had lingering issues that, or just too many minutes on the legs, or what happened. But also, I've said it before. Last time I was on the podcast, I mean, having a true defensive six
Hmm.
back there, someone that you can rely on, that can still help out offensively and distribute the ball and boss the midfield, but also be back there as a safety net.
Yep.
We've definitely lacked that too.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many.
yeah. No, I
you
think
know,
when you talk about the six, there's been so much talk about our need for that, and obviously we're being linked to a few different players now
oh yeah,
for the summer in that position. Yeah, because you look at the midfield, and Skiri and Larson are your starting midfielders most games. Larson is not a six, right? He's an eight, maybe could be a 10, like somewhere, but
yeah,
he doesn't quite have that defensive ability. I don't think some of his positioning and his read of the game on the defensive side is good enough to provide a safety net for the defense.
hmm
And then you look at Skiri. I mean, he was a wonderful defensive midfielder for Cologne for many years, but I think his legs are just gone at
yeah.
this
You've said it
point.
before. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. When he was at Cologne, he was consistently among the leaders in distance traveled, and you can see he's just not able to run like he used to. He's always dealing with injuries at this point, so it's just kind of unfortunate to see there.
yeah,
We throw Mo Dahoud in there a few games. Sometimes looked brilliant, and then other times just couldn't really get it together.
yeah,
Um, and then I think Hoyland looked decent in most of his minutes, but he plays that game in Union, first game under Riera, right? Scores or no, gets a score and takes the red card after a decent performance, and that sets
yeah.
you back, and it's just a lot of issues
Oh yeah,
throughout the midfield over the course of the season for sure.
yeah.
Um,
The
but
central midfield.
yeah,
Yeah,
the central midfield, absolutely. But as you mentioned with Trap, I think leadership is clearly an issue with this squad. Um, after he left, you don't really see kind of the true leaders that you really want in this side.
yeah,
Like a Trap, like a Rhoda, like a Hasebe, like an Abraham. Like you've got Coke there as the captain. Uh, Mario Götze is there, but he's pretty quiet. I think that's certainly an aspect that
yeah,
needs to be addressed over the summer. It doesn't take a lot. You only need to bring in one or two kind of guys for that. but I think that we need to address that in some way.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. I don't know if it's the leadership just vocally as a captain is what mattered, or if it's just the voices on the field, or what. But there's
Right.
definitely something was lacking there. We can speculate all we want. I'm sure, the locker room's a different thing, but just the way the season unraveled. I mean, definitely there's some head sagging and some shoulder sagging there. When these games started going afoul for us.
Hmm.
I just, if you like with um Cole, our goalie,
Is that her?
no, not Setva,
Santos?
Santos. I was thinking his first name.
Oh, Koa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. With him coming as a starting goalkeeper, you expect to have some aches and pains, and if you really think this guy's a future, you can live with those aches and pains to a certain aspect. And when you don't have the consistency of people you expect to get the consistency out of on the other position of the field, then it's frustrating. But like I said, you didn't really give any of these other young players a shot to where you could say, hey, like, I get it. There's gonna be a learning curve here. Some of these guys are gonna struggle. Some are gonna do great. It was just so frustrating because that they have it in them. I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen a lot of these guys perform, whether with Eintracht last year or with other clubs, and just
Hmm.
underperform this year, and then the injuries and everything else. It was just one stew of shit of just where everything just totally went
Yeah.
bad for us. So it's just so
Just
disheartening.
about just
Yeah,
about everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Thankfully, we were not ultimately in a relegation fight, right? That would have been worst case scenario. But
yeah,
it just so many little things, whether it's injuries, bad form, not giving opportunities. As you talked about Elias Baum earlier, I mean, the guy nearly got promoted with Elversberg last year. He came up through our academy. I mean, who's the last player from our academy to play? It was I can't even.
Barkok.
Yeah,
Ivan
Eamon
Barkok, I
Barkov.
think
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
but that's another issue is that I mean, Klosha. I don't know if I have the pleasure of being able to listen to the interviews and stuff in German, but he had a really good end of the season recap interview. I think it was about an hour long. He took a lot of the blame on his shoulder for
Mhm.
coaching the squad, the depth, just how it was all put together. I guess he kind of gambled on certain players in certain positions, and it sounds like he realized his faults. Um, but when you talk about these young players, and Baum comes to mind just because defensively we're so bad. But even
Yeah,
Ebnu Talib, who we picked up, he's a Frankfurt guy. We picked him up in the winter transfer season. Scores a banger in this first game. Gets injured in the second.
yeah,
Out for a few weeks, and then he didn't really even feature after that.
yeah.
So I mean, but Klosha has came out and said that as far as squad for next season, that we have a much smaller squad, and he's looking at his math equation is 17 plus 3, so 17 pros and 3 academy players, and it's like when the academy went away and then came back. When it went away, we were like, oh shit, and then it came back, and we were like, it cost us in hindsight so little money to keep it, but we
Yeah,
couldn't afford it. When we lost it, we couldn't afford it.
yeah.
They did okay, got relegated last season. They're getting
Hmm.
promoted this season.
Hmm.
We invest all this time and money into it, but we don't have anything to show for it. Even Futkoi, who we're buying back from Greuther Fürth, is after Ebnu Talib left at the winter transfer season, is the
Leading
leading goal scorer
scorer.
in the
Yeah,
Zweite Liga, and we're buying him back just to sell at a profit.
yeah,
I get it as a business decision. I mean, maybe he doesn't fit into your image, but there's a part of me that wishes we were a little bit more like Freiburg in the sense, but this kind of
Hmm.
stuff where you have the homegrown players and you ride it out and you stick it out with some of these players and these coaches and just say, hey, this is our guy. We like him. It's gonna be rough for a little bit, but we're gonna stick it out for longevity because we know it's better in the long run. But we haven't done
Yeah.
that, and I'm curious to see what quote unquote three players are going to stay up and who isn't. I mean, because we don't have nearly as many matches to worry about next season.
Right.
We've got the 34 plus the one Pokal match, and see where it goes after that. But
Yeah, those are the only guarantees, right? Yeah, no, I think when it comes to the academy, having the second team, it's gonna take a minute to try to get that established. I think if you want it to be a realistic option for players to develop in, you need them to eventually get promoted to the Dritte Liga, to face a bit better competition than Regional Liga. So
yeah,
we'll
but
see
they're getting
that.
playing time. I
No,
mean,
they are. They're getting playing time, and I think that's really good for some of the guys under 18 and all. But after once you get to around 18, 19, you need to be playing some better competition
yeah,
before trying to make that jump into the first team. But I mean, there are some interesting players there. Maybe the American Marvin Dills can make some
I've
appearances
heard
for the
his
first
name.
team.
I've heard
Yeah,
I've heard his name in
he,
other news channels that he could make it. It would be awesome to see him make it up.
yeah.
But it's it's frustrating on so many levels. Like I said, that you have invested this money and you're hoping to bring this young talent up, and I get it. You're not going to bring all these players in, but on the flip side, look at all these pros we have out on loan right now.
Yeah.
It's like we just threw the dart at the dartboard, and yeah, we got lucky on a couple players and we sold for big money. But if you add up the money that we've spent on all these other players that were total busts, I mean, it's like you kind of question Kosher a little bit there. I mean,
Hmm.
you got in Kukun, he's one in Italy. You got
Yep.
Dina, where is he, in
He
Belgium, I think.
he was playing for Brest in France this year.
France, that's right.
Um, Now, some interesting news with him. It does sound like he's going to come back to Frankfurt and stick for now. Uh, I'm a fan of his personally, so I want to see what he can do. He had a decent season for Brest. Obviously, they were in Champions League last year and were not able to reach that kind of level at all this year. So, but still an all right season for him over there. I, but yeah, and then you look at Eli Wahi. I mean, uh, probably Crush's biggest mistake, right? Signing Wahi, but he had a nice half season for Nice. Uh, they ended up staying up because he scored a brace for them
Yep.
in the relegation playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Um, he scored to get them to the Coupe de France finals as well. So
Yeah.
um, I, I don't think he has a future with us, especially after we signed Ebno Talib and
Yeah.
Mooney over the January window and have been linked to some other strikers here and there. So hopefully someone will be willing to pay money for him, if not Nice. But I
Yeah.
think that we'll talk about some departures here a little later on.
But
So
also out on loan, you got Smolcic,
yeah,
you got Nacho Ferry.
man, where
Who
did
else am I missing? I feel like I'm missing someone else. We had the one U21 player. I think we loaned him to Hungary. He made it on the U.S. tour.
actually two of them, right? Chris Listos and Fenyo.
Yeah,
I think
Noah
both.
Fenyo. Yeah,
I
he's on
think both,
loan.
and Listos went on loan to France Farmers as well.
That's what I mean. We just have so many puzzle pieces all over the place. Like I said, we just
Hmm.
threw the dart at the dartboard, and
Yeah.
if you look at it, um, Hugo was a pretty big gamble.
Hmm.
I mean, if you compare his player profile and his injury history and everything else, kind of like Eli Wahi. I mean, kind of similar report card, high risk but high reward. And I mean, yeah, we made a huge payday out of it, but if you add up all these other, couple mil here, couple mil there, 25 for Wahi, and then it's like all of a sudden it's like
Mm-hmm.
you hit big on the one lottery ticket, and then you went and bought a bunch of scratch offs, and nothing's worth anything
Right.
now. So it's
Yeah.
going to be really interesting. Granted, we've got some players in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a few players playing. It's going to be really interesting to see who comes back after the summer break strong and ready to play, who's had a good World Cup, who's ready to move on, who realizes they don't have an opportunity here. I mean, it's going to be really interesting how it all shakes out July, August. So
it's going to be a summer
yeah,
of a lot of turnover. But we'll get to that in a bit. Let's talk real quick about the Bundesliga as a whole.
yeah,
Obviously, we've mentioned that we finished in 8th place this year.
deservedly.
Very deservedly. Lowest finish for a little bit, but unsurprisingly, Bayern wins the league. By far the best team.
They had a great run.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but hats off to them, respect to them.
yeah.
They
The,
looks like with company, they've got a good coach. They've got some good young players. Fortunately, Leonard Carl's one of them.
right, yeah, former.
And it sounds like we're going to lose his little brother too, which I get,
Yeah.
rightfully so. But they had a great campaign. Dortmund
Yeah,
had a great campaign. Stuttgart was up there.
yeah.
RB was up there. Hoffenheim was a huge surprise for me. And looking back, like you said, beginning of the season, we beat them second match day. That was huge. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think anyone had him picked for a top 6 finish. So
I had him picked for relegation. I'll be completely honest. I just wasn't sure after how Ilzer kind of didn't fully cement himself last year. There were questions about whether he would continue, but they were able to bring back some of their loan guys, Aslani and I can't think of the other guy's name, and then also bring in some other guys from the Zweite and other Bundesliga teams like Tem Lemperle. So
yeah,
they yeah, I think we caught them at the right moment. Second match in
yeah,
order to get them before they were fully gelled. But once they did, it was looking like they would finish in a Champions League spot for a while, and they ended up
yeah,
missing out on that by 1 point. Stuttgart taking 4th place behind Dortmund and Leipzig in 2nd and 3rd for the Champions League. Hoffenheim finishing 5th alongside Leverkusen in 6th. Will be in Europa League next year. Freiburg ended up taking 7th place off of us late into the year. Not really
yeah.
surprising, as we've talked about. We kind of expected that.
Did it to ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Unfortunate that they weren't able to go and win the Europa League as well. That would have been fun, but it is what it is. And then Augsburg finishing only 1 point behind us in 9th place.
they had a great run too
Yeah,
after they fired.
Sandra Wagner.
Yeah, Wagner went out,
Yeah,
and then Manuel Baum came in, and they had a great run. And now Manuel Baum's staying next season.
Augsburg is one of those teams where you need the person to fit that identity of just a hard to fight against club, very defensive minded, and Wagner
Yeah,
really he wanted to bring in a lot of different ideas to that, a lot more
yeah,
attacking, open, and just it doesn't it doesn't work for Augsburg, and
yeah.
they made that change and went from possibly facing relegation to middle of mid table. Nearly got ahead of us on the last match day, right?
Weren't
And
they the
then
only team to beat Bayern too?
um, they were, in fact, yes.
Bayern had one loss all season, and it was to Augsburg. I mean,
It's that is just a
yeah,
crazy statistic.
yeah, yeah,
um, and then talk about another team who made a coaching change and ended up mid-table. Mainz bringing in Urs Fischer. They only
yep.
finished 4 points behind us, and
They had a great run in the
they
Conference League also, and in the league. I
yep.
mean,
Yeah, only losing out to Strasbourg by a little bit in the was that the semis or the quarters? Yeah, semis. Um, and then Union Berlin, they finished 1 point behind Mainz in 11th place. Bring in Marie-Louise at the end of the year. She does a good job, saves them. I think it's somewhat expected. I think that team is not relegation bad, but still very, very good work for her from a team who was in just such a terrible run of form before she took over.
Yeah, they're a good mid-table team.
Yeah, so. Exactly. Gladbach finishing 12th. I think that's kind of a bit expected when you start the year with Seoane as your coach. He's just so bad. Polanski came in, did okay. I think that squad is better than 12th place, but I'm fine with them there.
And I think he's sticking around for next season too.
He is, yeah. There were some questions about whether he was going to continue as the Gladbach coach, but as of now, he will be continuing on next year.
Yep.
Haasvau finishing equal on points, but worse goal difference than Gladbach in 13th. And then after that, you get into what was quite the dogfight for relegation near the end of the season, with Köln and Werder Bremen both ending only 3 points outside of the zone. Wolfsburg grabbing the relegation playoff spot on the last day of the season. Heidenheim and St. Pauli going down automatically. But how about Heidenheim almost saving themselves? They looked completely down and out, and
which was crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, they had some big wins, some big games there in the stretch the last couple games. I mean, it was probably the most interesting relegation battle to date. That all three were tied, two of them played each other, and it really came down to the last little bit. It was a great story. Great.
Yeah. No, those two games, the Wolfsburg Pauli and then Mainz Heidenheim games were the two I was paying the most attention to on the last match day for sure. Yeah. Just I think the most compelling storyline of the season there. And Wolfsburg go into the relegation playoff against SC Paderborn, and Paderborn come away with the win in 2 legs in extra time. And Wolfsburg are now relegated for the first time in nearly 30 years. They will not be playing Bundesliga football.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, so sad. so sad to see them go,
I mean, on one hand, former DC United player Kevin Paredes is on that squad.
Yeah. Well, he's leaving now.
Jesper Lindstrom is on that squad, and then what's his face? His sporting director that was briefly with us.
Hermann Schwegler.
Yeah, Schwegler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
he's always leaving us for plastic. I don't know why we gave him the chance, but
but you know what's even crazy is that Hannover 96, they were slated to be in that relegation spot on the final match day, and they gave up. They were tied and gave up the winning goal late.
Yeah, against
Nuremberg. 86th minute, 87th minute, something like that on the last match day to
follow
relegation bound Düsseldorf. I mean, that was that would have been a great Hannover against Wolfsburg would have been a great.
I think it would have been fun to watch. That Hannover side was very good this year.
Yeah, that was crazy to. I was watching that game live, and I could not believe it.
I know. Yeah, I had that. I had that on my big TV because it was must watch. Just end to end stuff. So many different changes in lead and changes in position around the table because of that. But you mentioned
Schalke back, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, they win the Zweite pretty handily. Quite a turnaround from almost facing relegation last season. But Muslic seems like quite a solid manager for them, and I'm excited to have them back. Excited to have the Riviera Derby back. So
yep, they belong back. So
yeah, for sure. And then of course Elversberg is the other team who locked up an automatic promotion spot.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Last year team full of loanees, lose their coach, and Horst Steffen, who went off to Werder Bremen and did not last the season. Another team full of loanees this season for them, and they were able to get it done.
Sold their top goal scorer to us, and still
halfway through the season, and still got second place.
Respect to them. It'd be interesting to see how it unfolds. So
yeah, I mean, obviously they've got a bit of financial backing from a smaller pharmaceutical company there, but certainly an interesting sporting project. Very, very small stadium, pretty remote, so it'll be interesting to see how away days are traveling to Elversberg. But yeah, so that's pretty much it around the Bundesliga. Any kind of standouts or surprises outside of Wolfsburg, Bayern?
No, like I said earlier, Hoffenheim was a pretty big surprise. I just wonder where they'll be at which Kamaric retires and Oli Baumann hangs it up. Will they slip up at all? And then Leverkusen also, I mean, seems like they're still kind of riding that wave from Xavi Alonso and all the players they had, and seems like they're in a little bit of turbulence now. So I expect the top to maybe change I think the top four are kind of locked in, but maybe there's one or two up for grabs, within the top six. So we'll see how it shakes out for next season. But I think, I don't know. Bayern's just unbelievably strong, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, I think they're pretty clearly, as always, the favorites to win the league next season. I don't see any reason anyone's going to challenge. But you speak about Leverkusen and some turbulence there. Hjulmand is leaving as their coach, so they will have a new one. I've seen some rumors of it possibly being Glasner, so that would be a rather interesting story to follow. We'll see what they end up doing there. Hoffenheim, it'll also be interesting to see now that Hopp has given up his shares. I don't know if he's fully done it or is still in the process or what's
I thought he was
there.
out.
I think he is out now.
Yeah.
And I think they are now 50+1 compliant. So yeah, going to be interesting to see how that affects them going forward. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much everything around the Bundesliga. It was a fun season, I would say, overall. When you ignore Frankfurt games for the most part, but no, always an entertaining league to follow, and we just love German soccer here. So let's get on to hashtag what are we drinking. I know this is Chris's favorite segment. He was unable to join us tonight. His dad took a tumble, so wishing him all the best. And but you got anything you're drinking right now, or just some DC tap water?
Well, if listeners are expecting me to describe my Pabst Blue Ribbon like an erotic novel like Chris does, they're going to be greatly disappointed. But I'm drinking a PBR. It just tastes good right now. So I've been drinking a few of these over the weekend, and I've been kind of bouncing back and forth between this and Bitburger at the moment. But right now I'm drinking a classic Pabst Blue Ribbon. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah.
Heineken, F that S, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
As my friends from Richmond always call it, the people's beer of Richmond, since they drink so much of it down there. But certainly not my favorite beer, but it gets the job done,
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
It's fine.
Yeah. What about you? What are you working on?
Right now I've got a Torpedo Extra IPA from Sierra Nevada.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Maybe the summer weather arriving. I've just kind of been more in an IPA mood, drinking a lot of Dogfish Head 60-minute IPA. But grabbed this yesterday from Harris Teeter, so just drinking it right now.
Yeah, it's actually for being June in DC, it's actually very pleasant. So
Yeah, it's cooled off a little bit here. It was pretty rough, and then the rain hit, and for like a week straight or however long it was, and now it's been okay. Certainly, it's worse in June sometimes. So, and I'm sure it will get a lot worse, especially as we get later into the month and into July. But yeah, I'll take it for now. That's for sure. Ugh. All right, let's give out some player awards. This doesn't need to be too long, but for you, who's your MVP of the season on the men's side?
I feel like the easy answer is Burkhart.
Mm-hmm.
There were some other pleasant surprises, but I feel like Burkhart, when he went injured, when he was down, that's when we had our struggles, but that was the biggest hurdle, I feel like. I'd put him as our MVP. Biggest flop, Wahi. Biggest surprise, Ahmad Mooney was a huge surprise. I did not expect him to. I mean, you bought him for $200,000, for him, offer, Hoffenheim's second team playing in the third division. I did not expect him to come in and get playing time and then get selected for the World Cup squad. That was a huge steal. Amenda was a pleasant surprise. Hoyland was also a pleasant surprise, and other than that, I really don't have a whole lot. I don't know if I'm missing something or no one really stood up, but Burkhart I felt like was great. When he was in form and not injured in the beginning of the season, he was always a factor, and then it kind of went down. After he got hurt, it took a while to get back into it, but put him on today, right?
Oh man, I think Burkhart, he has to be the MVP of the season for us. As you mentioned, the impact of him going injured was just so massive. He was our leading scorer. Always was making some things happen. The guy knows where to be. I think you could maybe make an argument for Sean Uzun to an extent. He was right. He had the second most goal involvements of any player. I think when it comes to the attacking midfield, he's just so much more influential than anyone else we have there. His passing ability, especially, clears pretty much anyone else on the team. Actually, probably everyone on the team, really. I think if you are talking second half of the season, I think you could include Callum Lindo in there. I think he transformed the attack quite a bit. His dribbling is just so good, and solid finishing. And, biggest disappointment, obviously, it's got to be Wahi, right? He came in with such expectations and had
and baggage too.
Yes, and ended up not having a single goal for us, right? Or he had one goal in the Pokal first round, right?
Against the fifth tier.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And no league goals, only one assist. So yeah, it's certainly one of the misses by Marcus Krosha there.
I mean, he's an easy target. I hate to say it, but Koch was also a big disappointment. Like we mentioned earlier, there was rumors of him possibly going to Dortmund. I mean, he could have made more money and maybe had a better chance to do more, maybe not played as much, but he opted for us, and we were super thrilled about that. And then, we're like, hey, this guy's a future. We can have him for a few years. He's saying no to more money to stay here, and then what? I mean, it was just he really struggled there for a while towards the beginning of the season. So
I think now since he probably is it, especially because he's here for a full season. He's given the captain's armband, and it was rough out there a lot of the season. He could not position himself well, didn't make recoveries a lot of the times. I thought the first handful of games under Riera, he looked a lot better, able to get to some more balls, make some good tackles, and then he went flat-footed again near the end, and he just got caught out a lot this year, and that was very annoying to see from someone who had come back to Germany after an unsuccessful stint in England and made his way back onto the German national team. And to see that kind of fall off from that level is disappointing to see, and I think shows maybe just how important Tuta was to that back line. He left and we weren't able to find a replacement for him, and you saw some pretty rough play from the other members of the back line when it came to the defense.
Yeah, Tuta was like a guy you kind of love to hate, even though when things didn't go well. But
yeah,
dislike him. But I feel like we're kind of putting him on a pedestal as a collective fans.
maybe, yeah.
But that's just me.
I always really enjoyed Tuta personally, but he certainly was prone to that high-profile error. And that could be tough to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
But I do think he was pretty solid overall, and he had been on the team longer than almost anyone by the time he left. So, I think that's probably about it for that, because we have some pretty big news coming out in the Eintracht world here in the past couple of days. A lot of rumors about the return of a former head coach, and it was made official not too long ago. Adi Hütter is back as the trainer of Eintracht Frankfurt.
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty conflicted on this personally.
As do I.
He's a good manager, but the way he left us, I don't know if I can ever get over that.
It left a really bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
It came out after he left, not immediately, but maybe like a year later. He had that press conference, and the rest of the matches were total busts. We went from a Champions League contender to finishing in fifth.
Yep.
And I remember hearing a news report that the day the press conference went down where it was known he was leaving, from that point on, the remainder of the season, those last 4 or 5 weeks, whatever it was, all the practices were total BS. That even the practice that day was a joke. So it was like he just totally took his foot off the gas. And then he had that thing, nothing changes except for the colors. He has since come out and apologized from it, from all the clips I've seen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of course, I want him to do well.
Yeah.
On one hand, he seems like he can get you close. I don't know if he can win the big one. But that's one thing we've seen with Glasner. Glasner can win it. Adi, I think, could push us into that bubble, but I don't know if he can make that bubble burst. He comes back definitely with more experience. He's got a little swagger, a little bit savvy. He had a great run in Monaco too. I mean, he second place finished, a third place finish. If I'm not mistaken, that second place finish, they were looking to be champions of France and lost it last match day or second last match day or something like that. And at the time of when he was let go, they'd slipped into fourth place. I mean, the French league is comparable in ways to the Bundesliga. It's not like the Premier League, but it's got, your couple top heavy hitters and then kind of like a mixed bag of everything else in between. It's going to be interesting. one thing I've heard about in other German media outlets, and they're not wrong, is that his lineup is built to suit him. His playing style, the way he likes to play. So I don't know. He definitely left a bad taste in my mouth. He did apologize. I'll give him that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
he can apologize, but I'm still I'm gonna need to see a lot from him out there, because that we were in comfortably, not maybe super comfortably, but we were in a Champions League spot for quite some time, having a fantastic season, right? Andre Silva leading the league in goals and all.
yep,
Uh, and he decides to leave for Gladbach. And I think it was the second to last match day, we fell into fifth place behind Dortmund, and we're not able to recover on the last, and
yep.
ended up we ended up in a Europa League spot, ended up winning that competition, which was
Blessing in
fantastic.
disguise. Yep.
But you still, like, the goal was to make Champions League. We brought Luka Jovic back on loan because we wanted to make Champions League, and then you just don't. you fail
Yeah.
at that task at the very last moment, essentially, and that it's just really frustrating. And you just worry that if we're in a Champions League spot again, is some team going to come in and want to hire Hooter off of us? And is he going to accept that again, right? He did it once. Like, I think he probably wouldn't right now. We saw how he did at Gladbach. It was not pretty. Not entirely his fault, right? Partially to the clubs. But, then he goes to Monaco. And as you talked about, top three finishes, first 2 seasons. This year they had a lot of pressure to at least get second place, maybe push PSG for the title, and they slipped up a bit, and that's why he was let go. I don't think it's really entirely his fault. I just kind of maybe too high of expectations, given what Monaco are. But yeah, so we'll see. I
Yeah,
think.
he he has a nice brand of football that he
Mhm.
likes to play. I mean, those couple years he was here, I mean, we scored some goals. Players really flourished. We did well. We had some really good runs in different competitions deep
Yeah.
into them. Um, but it just like when he left, it was just kind of like, oh, I'm going somewhere else. Like whatever.
Right.
It was like when Niko Kovac left, it was like I get it.
Hmm.
Stunt jetzt. I'm the coach here, and it was like I've got an opportunity to go coach somewhere else. I'm going to take it. And Gladbach wasn't even like a lateral move at the time. It was like, it was
Right.
a step back. It was just really weird, and his whole response and how he handled was just really weird, and how the team performed was just very disheartening in the end.
Hmm.
Uh,
I,
his team scores some goals, and
yeah.
defensively they give some goals up, which is a little bit of a concern. Um, he offensively, if we keep some of these players, hopefully they
Hmm.
improve. Defensively, he's got to tighten up. But I mean, he when he that press conference, he brings you have a clear vision of what he wants. He's got a little swagger to him. You can kind of tell
Yeah.
hey, I'm the man here, and this is my coach. This is what I expect. This is how we're going to do things. He's got a little bit of it's like okay, you feel okay with him coming in, but I do have my concerns. Very rarely does a player come back or a coach come back and it works out. I mean, I hope to God it does. I don't
Yeah.
realistically at this point in time, I don't know what our expectations were. I mean, are going to be for next season. Um, it's too early to say, but
Yeah.
it's I mean, Kosha's saying one thing. Kosha, like I said, Kosha's got this 17 plus 3 thing he's talking about, 17 pros and 3, you know,
Hmm.
homegrown amateur players to come up. Did a lot of amateur homegrown players get their chances under Huta? Not really. I
No.
mean,
Yeah.
you know,
It's.
uh, players that you didn't really think were going to do well did really well. I mean, Kostic was,
Hmm.
you know, he got relegated with Haasfall, he got relegated with Stuttgart, and then
Yeah.
and then he came to us, and we're
And
like, oh
he was
shit!
incredible
And
for us, though.
he
Yeah.
was incredible for us. I just don't know if I don't know if we've got the squad built. If the squad that we have right now is in place to suit his playing style, or is he going to be able to finagle it to his liking? Yeah, we'll see. So
We will see, because it's certainly going to be a summer of upheaval when it comes to the squad. Yeah, I just last thought on Hooter is I hope he comes in and does well. I want what's best for the team, and that's winning matches. It really feels like Croatia knew he's out of strikes, and this is the safest option. Um, you know what you're getting out of Adi Hooter, and it's
yeah,
decent football. It's not going to be groundbreaking. You're not probably winning the league at all, but that's okay. That's not an expectation, especially
yeah,
coming off of this season. Um, I think the expectation is probably going to be make Europe, uh, Europa League. I would assume is kind of the expectation.
so top
Going,
6.
yeah,
Yeah,
top six exactly, and I think that that's a fine expectation, especially if we're going to be trimming the squad down to 20 players. Um, so
that's the
let's
what
talk.
that's what we're hearing so far.
That's what
So
we're hearing. I don't think we're going to get down to 20. That's given how bloated we are. But yeah, let's talk about it. Who's going to be staying? Who's going to be going? Going to be a lot of turnover in this off season. A lot of talk about how we need to make up like 50 million euros. I think was the figure thrown out there.
yeah, I heard that on a kicker news report the other day that they Eintracht. I don't know how it's communicated, but they're looking to make sales or a sale upwards
Mhm.
of 50 mil to break even or kind of be able to build the squad how they want to next season.
Yeah.
So there's definitely gonna be some players that go. I guess why he's the easy one to say.
Yeah, I mean he'll go right. I don't think he has a future here.
Yeah, I don't
I
know if we can recoup any of our money. Nene, there's some rumors with him linked to Bayern already.
mhm.
With him, it just kind of depends on the World Cup, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that that's going to make the entire difference for him.
There's some rumors around Larson, even though his
Hmm.
value's gone down. I heard a really weird rumor that De Hoya is linked with Spurs for like 70 mil, which is
That's
outrageous.
crazy. I saw Bahoya linked to, I mean, he was of course linked to a move to like Saudi or Qatar in January, which I thought
Jesus.
was an odd one. And apparently he turned that down like himself.
Yeah,
I've seen him linked to England in the past. I think he's really talented. I don't think that a Premier League club is spending their money wisely if they're going to spend that much on him right now.
too
Uh,
physical of a league for him, I feel
yeah,
like. So
I think so. I think he needs another year or two of growth outside the
he's got
Premier
really
League
high
before.
ceiling of potential, I feel
Yeah,
like, though. So
his skill is incredible, right?
yeah,
He's a very very talented footballer, um, but if some club comes calling with even 50 million for him, you're not passing that up.
yeah.
And that's the thing with Larson too. I've seen him. I think Atletico Madrid is the biggest link, but there have been talks of Man City, Liverpool, Real Madrid in the past with him.
Yeah,
Talking 40 to 60 million, and you take that money and run. I think his
yeah,
growth has really stagnated with us, and you take that money and allow him to go have another opportunity to kind of rejuvenate his career and move on with it. With Wahi, I saw that Croatia
see
was
ya.
he. I saw Croatia was demanding 20 million. Was kind of the report after he had a pretty good run at Nice. This was before the end of the season, even. I don't see where anyone pays that. But if you can make back half of what you paid for Wahi, you take it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, this is also the Crusher that made the statement that Tetada was a national team worthy goalie, before the first international break in like October. So
Yeah,
I mean, for who stays and
it,
who goes, to be honest, I'm gonna say Crusher. This is make or break for him,
yeah,
right?
this is it, right? He has to absolutely nail this transfer window.
He in his press conference, he fully admitted fault and
Mhm,
took blame for everything. Great. He he probably the easiest person to blame. He manned up. He took blame for
mhm.
it. Um, yes, he was the general manager, Sportdirektor, when we won the Europa League. But a lot of those players'
He
pieces
had
were already in
just come
place.
in, yeah.
He had just come in, and even though he facilitated the Kolomwani signing, Kolomwani was already linked to
Hmm.
come to us in the wintertime
Yeah, it
before
was
he. So I
not just
mean,
didn't want to accept our fee for him in January before then.
yeah.
Yeah,
So and then we got him a free transfer. He's
yeah,
done a lot of good, but he's also there's some questions to be asked about him. So I mean, this year, as far as players and coaching and everything else is concerned, I feel like for who stays and who goes, this is a make or break season for him.
it,
So
it absolutely is on the sporting side of things. I will say he has done a fantastic job in getting us into a decent financial position.
yeah,
After COVID took a lot of uh, it took out a lot from every team across the league, really.
yeah,
And we were finally able to pay off those debts pretty recently. And I think he's done a fantastic job in identifying talent. Um, Maybe overspending on it a little bit here the past year or so, but
yeah. I feel like
still getting.
we got a little bit away from our DNA. I feel like this past
Yeah,
season.
I think
I
so.
think just spending. I don't know if the whole Champions League status. We felt like we had to spend some more money and take bigger risks. I mean,
Yeah, it feels that way, right?
yeah, like, oh shoot, we made Champions League. We gotta, we've got this money and we've lost these players. We got to take a chance here on this guy. I don't know if that was really what we as a club and as an organization should be striving for. So,
Yeah, for
um,
sure.
yeah,
No,
no,
I
it's
think.
definitely who stays who goes. There's, I'm, I'm not ready to go through the entire roster. And
No, we do not need to go through the entire
yeah,
roster. There will be plenty of time for discussion around that as the summer progresses. I do want one thought though.
let's
Do
hear it.
you think we can get Calamundo back?
Oh, man, I think he. It sounds like it's Forest where he came from, Nottingham
Yeah,
Forest, right?
yep.
They want 25 mil for him.
The clause in when he came in on loan was for 27 million euros, I believe the permanent fee. And the English media keeps on reporting that he's going to move to us permanently. But from what I've seen from people with some more connections in Frankfurt, we're not willing to pay that price. Try to negotiate it down. So we'll see where that goes. But I would love to bring him back. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, I like him a lot as a player. He reminds me a lot of Ribic, just kind of like hard nosed, hard running,
Mm,
just you know, great work ethic of a player and can finish. It's hard to tell. I mean,
yeah.
Krusha and Hood are going to have a lot to talk
Hmm.
about what kind of squad and how they want to play and who they want to put together and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. And you
Yeah,
know
we'll see.
what?
Right as of right now, I think he's just a little bit out of our wheelhouse
Yeah,
financially.
I,
So
I would tend to agree with that.
and that's not knocking him at all. I mean, Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just a hard deal to complete when you don't make Europe, right?
yeah.
Like, he, I think, is a very talented player, but might just be out of our price range. But the good news is with this World Cup coming up, Hooter and Croatia are going to have a lot of time to discuss their plans. I don't believe there's a transfer freeze right during the World Cup, but I wouldn't be surprised if they give it a little bit of time to try to plan out the squad, maybe allow some outgoings to happen during this period. But I would be surprised if we started seeing incoming players over the course of the next month.
When is the window open? Is that July 1st?
I think I don't remember, to be completely honest. This is a recap, not a preview, so I didn't look up that information. But I think it opens before the tournament ends, right?
I don't think we'll see too much activity. Maybe some of the players that are kind of on their way out, like Mo Dahoud. I mean, he's going. I guess that'll become quote unquote official when that opens up. Yeah, the World Cup's adds a little bit of a X factor into the whole equation.
Yeah,
so.
and it certainly can change values around for players. Obviously, we mentioned Nathaniel Brown. If he's able to see the field for Germany and performs well, I would be amazed if he's in a Frankfurt jersey next year. But you also look, Hugo Larsson is going to the World Cup with Sweden. Faraz Chahibi is going to play a role for Algeria.
I thought Larsson was left out.
He was initially, and then I thought, or maybe he was fully. I thought I saw that he was on the roster. I haven't really looked at all the rosters.
Yeah.
But as far as Shahibi's going with Algeria, he's going to play a part for them. I've seen his name linked out the door. Not anything concrete necessarily, but he's someone we could absolutely be looking to cash in on.
When he's good, he's good. But he's also kind of – we always try to play him out of the wing, and I think he does better centrally. And I feel like we have a lot of depth at that kind of 8/10 spot. But Can Uzon's another one there in that position that he scored – what was it, yesterday? He scored his first goal.
Yeah, he scored his first international.
So.
Yeah. And he'll be one who can raise his stock. I know there's plenty of interest from Galatasaray for him. Whether they're going to
I'd love to keep him, though.
I very much would like to keep him. I think
I'd like to keep some of those guys, but Nene, I feel like is probably has probably more likely to go of the two, I guess. But
it feels that way.
Yeah.
Especially given he's, I think, a year or two older than Uzun as well. So he probably feels ready for that move. I think we get Uzun for one more year, but if someone comes in with a massive offer, it'll be hard.
If I'm not mistaken, when we signed both of them, we had our crosshairs on Uzun.
Yes.
And I think
yes.
If I'm not mistaken, Nürnberg was like, hey, you should take a look at this guy too. And it was like a yard sale. Like, all right, we'll throw in this guy too, but you're gonna give us a little more money,
It was interesting to me because it almost felt, because we signed Brown in that winter window, or like we had the deal in place, and then it kind of felt like we were almost signing Brown as a means to convince Uzun to come to us, rather than accept some of the other offers that he was given. Like, I know he was linked heavily with
like
us.
a deal.
Yeah, like kind of hey, we're bringing one of your best friends. You should come to us.
We're a package deal.
Right. But no, I'm so glad that we got both of them. They've been fantastic young players for us. And
it seems like they're going to have bright careers with or without us. So
absolutely they will.
If they were the black, white, and red one more year, I'll be
extremely happy if both stay. So but we will figure that out in the next 2 months. As of now, I think that's about it for this episode. We've talked for nearly an hour and a half about everything Eintracht Frankfurt on the men's side this season. Do you have any final thoughts? Anything we haven't touched on here?
No, I think we got most of it. I think I vented enough. I got enough off my chest.
You're all good.
I
You're
feel
all
good for now. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, it's been fun. We miss you, Chris. Hope everything's
Yeah.
good at home. So
Yeah.
whenever you hear this,
Yeah. All thoughts, prayers to Chris's dad. Chris said he's okay. He just needed to go check on him, take care of his mom as well. So, family, real life, it all comes before anything sports related. It's certainly, while we invest a lot of time and money into this sport and watching it and traveling for it, it certainly is not the most important thing out there. So
Jurgen Klopp has a great quote that goes, "Football is the most important of unimportant things." So, like,
right.
couldn't say it any better myself. So
that is excellent. But yeah, so make sure everyone listening follows us on social media: YouTube at hefpod, Twitter /X at hefpod, Blue Sky at hefpod.bsky.social. Facebook apparently still on there. I can't say that I've ever looked at our page on there though. And make sure to tune into all episodes on YouTube if you want to watch, or SoundCloud, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. And thank you, Matt, for joining me for this recap of the 25-26 men's season. And thank you to everyone listening.
Thank you. Hey, listen, like, and subscribe. Help that algorithm out. All right, everyone.
Please, yes.
Yeah. Cheers. Good talking to you, Ben. All right. Take care, everyone.
Cheers.
Eintracht Frankfurt, schalalala, hey, Eintracht Frankfurt.